Hi, welcome to Sister Weekend. We're so glad you made it. That's Kari.
That's Beth.
And this is our YouTube channel where every now and again we pop on here to talk to you and hang out with you and let you know what we've been up to. And today we're recording kind of a special feature, if you will, because we want to kind of do a recap of our Sedona adventure. It was just so incredible and so much fun, and we want to have like a special video that's kind of for us, kind of a memory time capsule type of thing, but also to just give you a sense of what that kind of knitting retreat was like for us, because there are a lot of knitting retreats out there, and we've been to a couple of them, and the couple that we've been to multiple times. So I feel like we have kind of a good sense of, I feel like 3 different sizes of retreats too. That's like a very big piece of what I think made Sedona so special, is that it was very small. So we're kind of going to go day by day and try to insert some footage of just the beautiful scenery and the different things we were doing each day, the different events, or not events, but like activities that we did, the adventures we went on, and lots of downtime as well. And we'll show you some of the things we were working on. Probably me more than Kari, because I kind of sprung this on her, and it's kind of sort of on a whim. So I have this whole magnificent cart of all of my Sedona stuff that's been sitting here waiting to become part of this video. And I'm excited to record this because then I can like empty this cart and like use things more. I've kind of just been having it sit there like pristine and all together. I tried to keep the goodie bag together so that I could show you guys what's in there. And when I say you guys, I mean everyone. I know that's like a silly old gendered thing, but I feel like for us millennials, it just means like y'all.
Yeah.
People, everyone.
Guys.
Use guys.
Use guys.
All use guys. Yeah, we mean everyone. We mean all of you. So yeah, let's jump into it, shall we? Let me open my very official folder. So this was part of what we received when we first got there. So a cute little sticker on this folder, Knit Camp Sedona. It was put on by our friend Dorothy, who hosts Wandering Fern Retreats. And prior to being Wandering Fern Retreats, she had the yarn store in Grand Marais, Minnesota, way up north on the north shore of Lake Superior. And that was called Dappled Fern. Did I already say that? No. I'm
beans.
Like, oh, there's a cat. Beans! Beans! You monster! Okay. All right. Hopefully there will be no more cat interruptions.
Yeah.
Because I locked her out now. Okay. So Kari, take it away.
Okay. So when we got into the airport, we got in line. We're doing our thing. We get like our tags, and she's like, "Oh, I'll put them on for you." We're like, cool. Puts our suitcases on the scale. Beth goes first. She goes, "You're 7 pounds over." I'm like, huh? What? And then she's like, "Well, wait. Like, let's weigh yours." Talking to me. Like, maybe you can like put some stuff in hers. And I thought I weighed mine. I thought I had plenty of room. I'm like, oh yeah, perfect.
Because you had weighed it at home.
I weighed it at home, but I don't think I had it like enough on the scale. Because it's just like, a regular scale you stand on. Anyway. And she goes, "Oh, you're 2 pounds over." I'm like, what? What do you mean I'm 2 pounds over? Whatever. So I'm like, well, okay. So and then she's like, well, it's $100 each for those. I'm like, I am not paying $100 for 2 pounds.
Which we're already paying $50.
Yeah.
50 or 60?
That's something.
Something, I think 50 to check the suitcases. Because we're not light packers. Obviously, our suitcases were overweight.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we are. Whatever, 6 o'clock, whatever time it was in the morning. Suitcases ripped
off to the
wide
side,
open, middle of the floor.
And of course, because we didn't get a carry-on option, so our personal items are packed full. Because again, we don't pack light. So I'm like, how? Okay, all right. We did it. We somehow made it. Barely.
Yep.
By the skin of our teeth, but we did it.
One of the things I swapped was I had like a project that I had wanted to work on during the travel, and it was kind of big and squishy, but relatively light. So I grabbed anything that looked heavy out of my suitcase. So like a notebook, a journal, like I had a set of watercolor paints, all those things that I'm like, okay, this is heavy. Let's try this. And I swapped and put that project in the suitcase, and yeah, we weighed them, and then we were good to go. Oh my gosh, I had completely forgotten about that already. See, this is why we're doing this, because it'll be fun to watch next year when we go back to Sedona and be like, ha ha ha, that was so silly. So yeah, but then once we were through,
and once your crotch set off the
after my hair's driving me nuts. Once after the suitcase drama and the crotch drama, then it was like smooth sailing. Yeah. We flew to Denver, had a little bit of a layover there, and then after that flew to Phoenix, and then hopped on a shuttle to the Red Agave Resort in Sedona, Arizona, and all that was really smooth. Because we had a bit of time in Denver, we both cast on new projects, right? In the airport. I cast on this guy, which is a headband that's almost finished, but I honestly haven't touched it because we ended up shipping it back. That might be part of our story later, shipping some of our stuff. But this is a headband by Jennifer Berg. So it's some color work, and then you do she did a solid color. I used one of our new variegated colors, and then there'll be a twist, and then you like seam it together. Yeah, I started this in the airport.
I started a sock. That's what it was.
That's what it was. Okay.
I grabbed yarn to just have something plain and easy, because everything else I brought was like color work and charts and that sort of thing that I didn't want to deal with. When I just wanted something quick. I'm like, why did I start? No, that was just a vanilla sock.
But yeah, I would say like a vanilla sock is definitely a very good like travel easy airport project. This headband was a really simple project. I felt like the color work is very simple. It's easily memorized. It's maybe like when I do color work, if it's something that is a simple enough repeat, like 2 pink, 1 brown, 3 pink, 1 brown, like I can just, my brain kind of goes like 2, 1, 3, 1, and I just kind of like do that the whole way. And because there's only like really 2 different kind of shapes here, it was pretty easy to keep track of all of that. And this is a bunch of our new colorways, so I wanted to show these off and have a little bit of a sample. And yeah, then it was kind of a full day of travel though.
Yeah.
We were the last ones to get there.
That was probably close to 6, I feel like, by the time we actually got to the resort.
Yep. And yeah, so then we went and checked in with Dorothy and said hi to everybody who was knitting outside and already settled in. So that's when we got our folder, which had a really nice packet that was just an itinerary of like the whole trip basically. So there's an overview page, just kind of giving some retreat highlights. There's a note about meals, because Dorothy and her husband Brienne are like fantastic foodies, and they put a lot of effort into using local ingredients. And she said also they tried to make an effort to shop from native owned food producers when they could. So we had some really cool different meals that we definitely had never had, and that were all very delicious. And she said she took a lot of inspiration from the Navajo grandma's YouTube channel. So that was kind of cool too. And then throughout the retreat, everybody was like, you should make a cookbook. You should make like a retreat cookbook of like all these different meals that we're having, because it was so yummy. Then there's a really brief itinerary. It was a 7-day, kind of a 7-day retreat, but day 1 is like the travel day, check-in day, and day 7 is like the travel home day.
And like check-in here, it says at like 4 p.m. So,
right.
It's like the day's practically done.
Yeah. So really it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full days. And 2 of those were free days. One of the days was kind of a day-long class that Kari and I taught, which was super fun. But we'll kind of go through that a little more when we go through each thing. There was a whole bunch of 2 full pages of free day ideas. So what you could do if you wanted to on those free days, but also like, hey, hang out, swim in the pool, sit in the hot tub, go for a hike, knit all day, do what you want to do. Then the room assignments were on here. There's a lovely map of the venue, and then a whole bunch of tips and information for like how to get to Sedona. So there were some shuttle options listed, some directions depending what route you were going to take if you were driving, a map of Sedona. See, like this packet, the way Dorothy plans retreats, she puts so much thought into every single piece of it. So we kind of jumped into like the trip, but prior to the trip, we actually had a Zoom call that was open to everybody that was attending the retreat, which was 15 people, I think, and that included Dorothy and her husband Brienne. So I think most of us were on the Zoom call, and we went through all of this. And so if we had any questions, so we got to meet each other, we got to see some faces, learn some names. For us, we were lucky to see some familiar faces, which is always very kind of a security blanket, when you're a goofy little introvert who hasn't done a whole lot of travel. It's nice to just go through these things of like, well, what's better? Should we rent a car? What should we do? And I think that if you were going to this retreat and you had anxiety about any of those pieces, that meeting was like the perfect opportunity to just feel better about it. And we went into some little breakout rooms and just did some little chit chat stuff too, just getting to know each other. So then along with that meeting and this packet, there is a pre-trip checklist. So just all the things to remember. There was a survey to fill out, booking your flight, packing. There's information about what the weather is like in Sedona in April, so you kind of know what to pack. Basically, it's like kind of like Minnesota transitional seasons. Pack everything because layers. You don't know for sure what it's going to be like. And then packing tips and a packing list, which we also received this packet ahead of time, which was amazing. And I actually like printed off the packing list just itself, and I was writing all over it and crossing things off. So that was amazing because otherwise I'm a bit of a discombobulated person when it comes to like packing and most things. So it was nice to have like, okay, bring this. And really everything was on this list. Yeah. The only thing that I think was missing, and maybe it's something so obvious that people don't even need it written down, would be like sunglasses. But otherwise, like everything is on this list. It's a whole page long packing list, which is awesome. And then, excuse me, at the end, there's just a little about Dorothy section where she kind of introduces herself. Though I think with this retreat, she already knew everyone. Yeah. Because she's hosted quite a few retreats for a handful of years up in the Grand Marais area when she did own the yarn shop and was Dappled Fern fibers. But now she has sold the shop to her friend Kristen and our friend Kristen. And now she's doing Wandering Fern retreats as kind of her main gig, which is awesome. And she is a wonderful host. So there was that packet in our little folder. along with a menu, which, well, let me tell you, that's probably the first thing I read because I was like,
Yeah.
ooh. And even when we did our little intros, and one of the questions was like, what are you, I don't know, kind of like, what are you excited about being here? Or like, what do you like most about a retreat or whatever? And for me, I'm like, I love not being responsible for food.
Yeah.
And not having to like listen to my children complain about what I'm making or what I'm not making, or two of them are complaining and one of them is very happy. And it's just draining sometimes when you're like, I would rather be doing 4 million other things, but I'm cooking for you and listening to you complain about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate the little menu and having so many yummy meals to look forward to. And that was another great thing. They provided all of our meals.
Yeah.
So breakfast was kind of continental breakfast style. So there was like yogurt with different toppings, fruit, granola bars.
Like farm fresh hard boiled eggs one day.
Yep. There was one day we had breakfast sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
Those were yummy because that was
That
the
was
hiking day? Yeah, so it was like we had to be up pretty early, so it was like grab and go kind of style. And then there's the one day we had the blue corn mush. Is that what it was called?
I think so. Blue corn mush.
Well, as soon as I said it, I'm like, is that right? I don't think that wasn't on here because that was a breakfast. But what else were you going to say? Or was it the blue corn mush?
I think the blue corn
mush,
okay. Yeah.
Which is kind of like, so that was a local ingredient, right? The blue corn. And we had no idea what that would be like, and it was really yummy. It was like, how would you even describe it? Well, first of all, it was kind of blue.
It was blue.
So that was cool. Yep. It was pretty.
Yeah. Like
it was pretty
like
mush.
Blueberry kind of blue, I'd say. If
yeah.
Like smushed up blueberries and mixed it in something, kind of that tint to it.
And so it was like,
I wouldn't say it didn't feel like grits. Like it wasn't gritty like grits. But it's not like it was oatmeal either.
Right. It was finer than that.
Maybe cream of wheat?
A little bit of a grainy texture, but like very like flavorful. And then there was all sorts of stuff you could put on it. So I think I put like some nuts and some fruit, and I don't really
a little
remember.
Syrup on there, maybe like some maple syrup on there,
some sweetener. Yeah, it was yummy.
It was really good.
And then lunches were like kind of like camp style lunches, like sandwiches, just like kind of simple for the most part. Depending on what the activities of the day were. So I guess some of the lunches were more like a regular kind of bigger meal. And then on our free days, it was kind of like the sandwich, and just, it was it was kind of like they took attendance the day before of, hey, who needs a lunch for tomorrow? Yeah. Kind of like when you're in school and you need you're going on a field trip. Yeah. And it's like, okay, brown bag lunch. What do you need? So that was awesome. And then the dinners were kind of the big meal of the day, where it's like everybody was back together and kind of reflecting on the day and chatting and knitting.
There's always dessert every day. That was awesome because I don't do dessert every day because it's a problem.
Well, and when you're only 2 people in your house, it's like you have to eat all the desserts.
2 people, and one of the people is not a sweets person. So then it's like...
That's really bad.
Yeah. So I don't do sweets in the house.
So we should do dessert more often when you're here.
Yeah.
Because I got a house full of people that will help me eat dessert. Yeah. And everyone in this house likes sugar. So yeah, no sweet haters among us. And then there was another little printout in here of upcoming retreats. So most of Dorothy's retreats are up on the North Shore. This was the first one that was like a big travel thing, which is really fun. Most of the people were from Minnesota, Wisconsin. Kari's from North Dakota. Yes. Did you know that? I always forget.
Yep.
Because in my brain, she's just part of all of this, which is here in Minnesota.
Well, that's even Mom too. I think the other day when we were talking, she's like, "Oh yeah, I forget that you're like in a different state."
Because also you hardly are. Like, it's like, it's Moorhead,
the river.
Here's Fargo, here's Minnesota, here's North Dakota.
Yeah. Somebody was from Montana.
Yes, someone was from Montana. And there was like, we were a sister duo, there was a mother-daughter duo, and then a couple friend duos, and then just a couple people who had met probably some of the other. I don't think anyone showed up not knowing anyone else. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
And some people have family there, so they were there like beforehand too.
Yep, some people made kind of an extended thing of it, which is nice.
A lot of people rented cars, which I'm like, good for you.
And it was also good for us because we tagged along a couple times. So the upcoming retreats, if you're interested, which you probably will be after you hear us rant and rave and wax poetic about how much we loved being in Sedona, and everyone and Dorothy and the whole deal. So spring knit camp is coming up. I'm pretty sure that one's full because that one's happening like very soon. Fall knit camp is in September. That one's in Grand Marais, Minnesota. November knit camp is in Lutsen, Minnesota. We have been to 2 of Dorothy's retreats in Lutsen, and they're in these like ski cabins, but it's kind of their off season, so you just kind of feel like you have the place to yourselves, and it's not really like the touristy season.
Kind of tucked away in the trees, so you're like in the woods, and
the cabins are like really cool.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes when you think like northern Minnesota, you think like sometimes a cabin is like a shack.
Yeah,
and sometimes it's like a bougie Airbnb.
Yeah,
and these ones are more like that second one.
Yeah.
Where they're just like beautifully decorated, very cool, kind of like Scandinavian feeling.
Because they all have saunas.
You can go out in the sauna.
So they all have saunas. So they're all very.
It's not sauna.
Yeah,
it's sauna.
Yep.
Carrie and I, the first time we went into sauna, we felt very much like we were making our Finnish ancestors proud because we were having our coffee in the sauna.
Yes.
And just, we were so proud. So we will be there in November again. That one's very exciting. And last I checked, that one, thumbs up, guys. What the heck? Sorry about that.
Oh, whoa.
Really? Well, what did I do?
I don't know. You
Now
use
I'm
hand
like,
gestures.
what
and
else?
It's like
Fireworks, please. No? Okay.
It's me when you're doing something stupid and you're like, what's that? What? You know, when it's like, what's gonna happen?
And then second annual Knit Camp Sedona in April. And that's already full.
Yeah.
But you can send Dorothy an email if you would like to be added to the wait list. And who knows? There's a lot of time. That's almost a year. Something could change. I don't know.
I think that happened this year. I think someone.
Oh, really?
I thought somebody had to drop out for some reason, and someone was able to sneak in, but I could be wrong.
Okay. I wondered if that would happen. We just lost our view of ourselves because the screensaver came up, but it's still recording. Okay. So should I change the setting so we can see our beautiful selves? Or should I just leave it?
Let's just leave it.
Okay,
Let's just keep rolling.
Awesome. Okay. So that's what was in our little folder. And then we got our goodie bag. All right. Green button. Please stay on. All right. We're back, internet. Dang these bangs. Sorry, what were you saying?
For a third time.
For a third time, it might not look like it to you, but we had some interruptions. All of a sudden, we're like, blah, 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 blah. I bet we had talked for another 10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
And I'm like, the green light's not on. That must mean something.
And then the screen was going like dark from the screensaver. Like, that's probably not good either.
And then we saw the words, disc full. 2 words you don't want to see, hear, or read when you're trying to record a podcast. Okay, so luckily we know exactly where we left off. So we are going to tell you about the goodie bag. And because I feel like this already has been and probably will continue to be a lot of me talking, I'm going to make Kari talk about the goodie bag because I already did it once.
That's fair. All right. So as you can see, Beth is wearing a t-shirt or a tank top. But she's wearing a tank top, I think.
Yes, Knit Camp
Which
Sedona
was an option, and you could do either or.
a t-shirt or a tank.
That came in this beautiful bag that also says Knit Camp Sedona. Talking about how Dorothy thought of everything. She put a little kind of business card on here, but with her information, and then your name, and then whatever each cabin or room, whatever, was called a certain name. So then your name was on there of your room where you were staying. We got this awesome lip balm. This handmade from, what was the, I could just look here.
Wild something. Dry and Wild.
Dry and Wild, along with a hand balm that are both very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like really nice. Like I like that hand balm a lot.
Yeah, Carrie already raved about it
Yes.
once. It's hard to have the same enthusiasm when you just said
Yeah.
something like 30 seconds ago. But it is really nice.
And the lip balm's really nice too.
And it has just like the mildest scent, but it smells so good. This one is honey mesquite.
We also got, like you said, a chocolate, I think, some candy.
And a trail mix.
A trail mix from Costco. Because every time I'm like, I need to go to Costco. She found some good snacks here. And I don't live far from one. We also got a Knit Camp Sedona sticker. And we got these beautiful postcards. Thank you.
Yes.
And this is all pretty much local. This is also a local artist. Caroline Clark. This is the Morning Desert postcards.
Aren't they so pretty?
And like Beth said, she was all excited. Like, I'm not sending these to nobody. But there's 2 of each.
Two of each design. Which is so clever.
Yes,
because,
very thoughtful.
And I don't know if, that was the reason. But because I'm definitely planning to hang. I want to make this into like a gallery wall behind us. We got one thing put up here, and you can't see, but a couple things put up there last night because Carrie's been helping me. Because I told her last night, I'm like, every time I'm down here, like trying to figure out, I'm like, I wish Carrie was here, because I know if Carrie was here, she would not let me just ramble on ideas forever. She would be like, perhaps let's actually attach something to the wall and start.
Yeah.
Because I'm not good at that part. I'm just like, well, I know I want to do this, and I know I want to do that. And then my perfectionist inside me, Miss Perfect, as we call her, is like, well, don't put up one thing until you have everything ready.
Oh.
Well, that's silly. So I have my Avett Brothers poster up from the concert we went to last spring. Or was that in May?
No, August.
August
30th.
Okay.
Right at the bottom there.
2025. Oh, yeah. See, time isn't real.
Time
it doesn't
is not
matter.
real.
Another cool part about these is when Dorothy was first telling us, we were at one of the retreats in Lutzen, and Dorothy for the first time was announcing the Sedona retreat, and like you could see how excited she was about it and how it's such a special place for her. She went there, I think she said pretty much every summer as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And they would do like holidays there sometimes.
Because her grandparents lived down there.
And so when she was talking about that, she had a few different items, and she's like, oh, you have to smell this. And it was either like oil or something that's like, this smells like the desert. And here's like, and so this was some of this artist's prints were some of the things that she was showing. And then when we got ourselves wrapped into the Sedona retreat, I used the artwork as inspiration for pretty much all of the colorways, and kind of the inspiration for my mood board. And I say I because Carrie and I had to divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Leading up to Sedona, which was in early mid-April.
Yep.
I dyed 12 new colorways for Sedona, which was probably overkill, but But also a lot of them are tonals, which are
Yeah.
fewer steps in the dye process, and so a little quicker. And then there were 3 that were more involved, multicolor colorways, which I'll show you. And of course, those are like the ones that ended up, I think, most people's favorites.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But Kari was dyeing yarn for the Minnesota Shop Hop for Knitting from the Heart in, now I'm going to blank. Woodbury. Thank you so much. In Woodbury, Minnesota. Yeah, you should know. You printed off many an address label.
Yes.
And so Kari was working hard on that. So we just really had to like divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Which then Sedona was such a wonderful, it was great timing for us because it was like we hardly connected in that time. We were like in the trenches of just like doing stuff, because as much as we want Sister Weekend to be our full-time gig, it's not yet. Kari has another part-time job. I have 3 little kids. Sorry. Glad you're here, pals. Take a sip of your beverage every time you see a thumbs up. Be careful. You're going to be over caffeinated or tipsy, depending what your beverage is. What were we just talking about?
You have 3 little kids.
Oh, do I ever? And so like, I can work quite a bit, but it's in kind of goofy bits and pieces. So like when we have big projects, one of the things that goes out the window is like regular chit chats. It's like when you're not working, you're working.
Yeah.
And when I'm not working, I'm momming, which is another kind of work that's perhaps the most exhausting work of all.
I remember going like, I took off a little extra time.
Oh, you did?
Took off some extra days from work to get this yarn done because.
So you took days off of work
to work. Yes. Because like it wasn't going to realistically happen otherwise. And when I did come back to work, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been like forever since I've been here. And someone's like, were you on vacation? I was like, no.
I wish.
No.
You're like, girl, I'm about to be.
Like, I was not on vacation, trust me. I was not. Woo.
But yeah, that was very exciting to do.
It
Shop
was very
yarn,
exciting
because we had not been asked, or that's something that we aspired to do. And when we got the chance, we said, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot in that process. And Kari, will you show your headband since we're talking about it? They being the people at Knitting from the Heart, designed a cowl pattern and a headband pattern for knitting. And then there was also a crocheted cowl. Is there a hat too? Oh, and a hat too. So it was kind of like you can make 1 cowl or 2 headbands, or I'm not exactly sure. They probably have all that information out there.
The knitting patterns were designed by Elizabeth Finn, who owns and runs Knitting from the Heart. But yes, so it was 2 50-gram DK weight yarn. So I made us each some headbands because I just this past week did all the pre-orders for it.
Yeah, they sold out
in like the middle of the day on Saturday. I think it was.
Which was not even the last day of the crawl. We were shop hop. We were so in awe. So we were in Sedona when we got those messages, and we're just like, oh my God, we made it.
So there was like one, with how we do our yarn, there was 1 kit left. And I'm like, well, I could do 1 cowl, but I'm like, I have so many cowls. Like so many cows. I'm like, I'm going to make us each a headband because I only have 1 headband. So.
And that's funny because the headband I just showed you that I was knitting on, I was making 1 for me and 1 for Kari. So we're both just going to have 2 headbands this next winter, which will be great. But so because they sold out, they started taking pre-orders.
Yes.
And so Kari got to go right back to the dye bands.
Yes. But wasn't nearly as much.
Not nearly as much, and not as much of the pressure of like a timeline.
Yes.
Like obviously you had to get it out the door, but not like by a certain exact
Right.
date, you know. So here are the two colors.
Oh, there they
Sorry,
are.
I stole them out of your bag
Okay, I
while you
was
were
like,
talking
huh?
because I was going to show them. So this is the light
Yep.
colorway, and this is the lead
Yes.
colorway, because the inspiration was Tiffany glass and stained glass.
Tiffany Glass Museum, I think it says on the pattern.
Yes, because every year the shop hop has a theme, and so it was different museums, which was really fun. And the shops were always are very creative, but really did great with that. And Elizabeth from Knitting from the Heart really wanted kind of like every stitch to be a different color, kind of, or that much color going on. And I just think Kari did such a beautiful job.
Thank you.
And we were at Shepherd's Harvest Festival this past weekend and got so many wonderful comments from people. So cute.
Yeah.
Just people who stopped by and said, "Oh my gosh, I loved your yarn." And someone was like, "Oh, I picked out the most colorful, boldest one skein I could find." And, you know, with a color this variegated and wild, each skein is really unique and special, which just makes it all the more fun. And it just pops so beautifully against that black.
My friend came over to help me label this stuff, and she's like, "Oh, yep, that looks like stained glass. Yep, I think you did it." I'm like, "Okay, good," because she was there. We were just hanging out, and I'm like, "Well, if you don't mind hanging out in the basement," because I had some yarn to dye. She's like, "Okay, whatever."
Come to my lair.
Yeah. So she saw kind of what some of the prototypes, and she's like, "Oh yeah, yep, I see it." I'm like, "Okay, good." So there's plenty left here, and I think I'm going to make her a headband too, but I'm going to do like color work something and have this probably be the background.
You know, it would be fun to do the opposite of this and have the squares be black. No?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you're right. Terrible idea. Just kidding.
Nope.
Oh, funny. So yeah, we were busy.
Yes.
Leading up to, that was pretty much the whole month of March, and the first week of April was just like boom, 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 getting everything done. So should I show the colors, the new Sedona colors that I dyed, do you think? And then we can kind of go day by day, just a little brief overview, and I can insert some footage of all the fun things that we did. So the new colors I dyed, and you may have seen a reel on Instagram a little while ago before we went that was in black and white and showing off all the colors, but in black and white. So I will
go ahead.
I'll repost that now in color. So I'm going to start the video, and then I'm going to come over here. And you guys scooch like that way, like one little fraction. Okay. Hi. Hello. It's Kari.
It's
and
Beth.
From Sister Weekend. And I wanted to do this ridiculous video that Kari has agreed to in a very little sister fashion. I told her we have to, and she said, "Oh, fine." Actually, she was more agreeable than that. Okay. So Kari and I have both been very, very busy in March, especially, because Kari was dyeing her little heart out.
Yeah.
Creating beautiful shop hop yarn.
Yeah.
For Knitting from the Heart in Woodbury, Minnesota.
Turned out real good.
It did turn out real good. So if you're going to the shop hop, you should buy it. You should buy it. But it really did turn.
Yeah,
you nailed it. It's so good. You're welcome. Okay, and so while she's been doing that, I have been doing all of the dyeing for our Sedona trip. That's coming up in a few short days. We're going to Sedona, Arizona. To Sedona Knit Camp with Wandering Fern Retreats with our friend Dorothy. And so Kari has not seen any of the colors. We have not talked about any of the colors. And so I'm going to show them to Kari, and you get to see her reaction, and I get to see her reaction. And it's going to be so much fun. But we're not actually going to give away the colorways because we don't want to spoil the surprise for the people at the retreat. Okay, so here we go.
Okay. What?
You
just
big
sister, tell me what to do.
Okay. So first, You have to remember the mood boards. Okay, so here's the
I
first.
sure don't.
Here's the first mood board.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna actually make you remember.
Yeah.
So, and this one. So my plan was to create one colorway based on this whole thing, all these colors,
Mm-hmm.
and then also to dye a bunch of tonal colors from here, if this makes sense. Okay, I will have this up on the screen for you people so that you're like, what are you guys talking about behind that computer? Okay, so I'm calling this one View from a Pink Jeep.
Okay.
Because we'll be going on a Pink Jeep tour. Okay, so there's a main colorway for each of the 3 mood boards.
Okay.
And then there's also a mini set that includes the main colorway plus 6 tonal colorways because we're thinking like colorwork projects. Okay. So this is the colorway. View from a Pink Jeep.
Ooh.
That's the one where I got a little wacky and I ran out of room for speckles.
Yes.
'Cause
Yeah,
it just-
that happens.
I used a little too much dye, but it turned out
So party.
And this is the coordinating mini set. And if you look at the picture,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay, you can just pop those there.
Okay.
Okay, next one is
And these are ones like we already had?
some of them.
Some of them.
Some of them. So then I'll also show you the, okay, because guess, that's another thing. Guess how many new colors I dyed?
Wasn't it? You told me. 6?
More than that.
9?
More than
12?
Yep.
Okay.
that. There's going to be a whopping 15 people at this
Yeah.
retreat. We got almost one colorway per person here. Okay, so this is the next one.
Okay. Okay.
This one I'm calling A Wandering Fern Visits Sedona, or Visits the Desert, or something similar. And this one is kind of dyed with Dorothy in mind and kind of her colors. And I think this might be my favorite. So here's the main color.
Oh, Yep. 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 Ooh, yeah. I like it.
I thought you would like that one. You and Dorothy.
I was saying colors very similar.
And then this is the main set.
Oh, yep. Yep.
So
Very nice. Very nice.
these 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 existing colors, 2 new colors. Well, and this one is the same as this one.
Gotcha.
And then this one is, oh, I gotta show you the mood board first. Okay, so I think I had 2 different background colors, so it's not quite, but this one is kind of based on you and me, so it's gonna be called like Sisters in the Desert or Sister Weekend in the Desert or something like that. And this one's my favorite.
Ooh, yeah.
See, because it has my 2 colors that you say I always put together.
Yeah.
And then it has like kind of Auntie Kari colors in there. And then, look at our mini set.
Yep. I like it. I like it.
It's like Auntie Kari meets Beth.
Yeah. Very much so. With
So-
this, I'd say this being somewhat interchangeable.
Yeah,
Probably
that
this
too. And this too, actually.
And that.
Oh, sure. You just leave me with the one.
Well, with the pink. Surprise. With the pink. Come on.
Yeah. Okay, so then within all of this,
I think they know you like pink.
I do like pink. I dyed our Sedona rainbow.
Ooh.
Not on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So these colors were all in amongst those minis. So these are the 9 tonals, which some of them, like, this one's too similar to something else we already have, so I won't repeat that one. This one's too similar, but like these 2,
Yeah.
and this one, you're not gonna believe when I tell you what dyes I used for that one. Oh my gosh, and it did not do what I was trying to make this color.
It's pretty close.
Is it?
From this distance, let's see. Well, now up to the screen, no. From a distance, well, yeah, in the
that's-
same family.
That's probably my favorite one.
Which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot.
Isn't that one so good?
Mm-hmm.
How'd I do?
I think you did all right there. Pretty darn good.
Oh, and
Whoa.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
Here's the custom labels I made.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Aren't they so cute?
I like them a lot. I do. Yeah, I think we're going to sell some yarn.
I hope so.
I don't think you need to be worried about it.
And if we don't, we can bring it home and knit with it, because I love
Fine.
it all.
I like this armful of yarn. I'm not mad about
That
it.
looks like something that you and I would pay for in
Yeah.
the shop. Mm-hmm.
There have been times, where it's like, I'd buy this.
Heck yeah.
Like something that's so funny.
Heck yes.
So I'm like, yeah, I'd buy that. Yeah, I'd buy that.
Okay. So, that's 7 minutes.
One of my friends that follows us on Facebook commented, "Why is it in black and white?" I'm like, Ryan, watch the video, Ryan. Listen to us. Ryan, come on. Ryan. It was funny.
I'm teasing.
It just
I
made
like
me
Ryan
chuckle,
too.
like, just watch the video.
Watch and you shall see. So I ended up dyeing 12 new colorways, as I mentioned. And I think I'm missing some, but I'm not sure which. So I may need your help with that in a minute. But some of them are in here. That's probably why. So I made 3 mood boards, and my mission was for each mood board to dye a color that kind of represented that whole mood board. So there were a lot of colors on each one. So my multicolored yarn was going to have a lot going on, and then I wanted to pull individual colors and have a bunch of tonals. So I ended up naming one of them View from a Pink Jeep, because one of the days we took a pink Jeep tour, which is kind of like, a very touristy thing to do. But it was very fun, very interesting, very educational. And so this is the mini set that came from doing the multicolor and the tonals. And I made special labels for Sedona. So Knit Camp Sedona, Sister Weekend Yarn Co., and Wandering Fern Retreats. And I just tried to do very Sedona colors on the ball band. And our bases are named after important women in our lives. So I did a little spin off of that. And so this sock base is usually our Ruth base, but I called it Ruth Goes to Sedona. And the other one is our DK, and I call that one Martha Goes to Sedona. And so this colorway is the actual View from a Pink Jeep colorway. So lots of pinks, rusty, sandy oranges in there. And I'll put a photo of the inspiration mood board up so you can kind of see what I was working from. And then some of these are existing colorways and some of them are the new ones. So these 4 actually were existing colorways. So this is Why Didn't I Get Shot At? That's from our Fantastic Mr. Fox collection, and it's a quote from the movie. This is Leafy Sidewalk. That was one that Kari dyed up for our most recent fall collection. This one is Slippage in the System, which we have been dyeing up since the very beginning, one of our very first Daisy Jones themed colorways. And this is Lip Smacked, which is also one of our OG colorways. Then the new ones, and now I'm going to blank. I think this one is called Poolside, and this one is called Pink Jeep. And so it's pink, but there's actually some like dirty brown kind of splotches on it on some of the skeins. So these were 3 of the new colorways. So that was the View from a Pink Jeep set. This was a set called A Wandering Fern Visits Sedona. So this one was kind of based on Dorothy and kind of her color vibe. So this was the multicolor, variegated colorway called A Wandering Fern Visits Sedona. So it's got all these lovely kind of orangey reds, kind of a corally red, a few blue speckles in there. some nice green. And then the colors that went along with it were, again, why didn't I get shot at? Bloop. This one is straw bale. This one is leaves on the lake, right? This is swampier. That's another Daisy Jones one. And then these two are two of the new ones. This one I think turned out really nice, and we don't have a ton of blue colorways, so that was a fun addition. So this one is Sedona Skies, and this one is Mitten Ridge, because that's the place where the big hike was. There was one day that we went on like a guided hike. So when we talk about the hike day, because you can hike any day you want, but that's what we were talking about. So 3 of the new colorways. And then, so that's a total of 6 of the new colorways. And then I don't have any leftovers of the last set, which was called Sisters in the Desert. So that one was kind of inspired by Kari's favorite colors and my favorite colors, kind of, even though really probably this one is also very Kari, because Kari and Dorothy love the same colors. So we're not gonna let that get dark. We're just gonna keep an eye on things. So this variegated colorway is the Sisters in the Desert colorway. The background here is, again, why didn't I get shot at, which I don't think was part of that set. It's just a color that I had to use as the background, that I wanted to use as the background. Then the pink is the view from, no, that's Winter Glow, because that was in that set. That's a pre-existing colorway. The orange is Slim Shady Trail, because the trail right off of the resort is called Slim Shady Trail. The lovely swampy yellowish was called, I think we called it Brittle Bush. This bright green we called Prickly Pear, which definitely, having now seen a prickly pear in the real life, it's not really that color, but we were trying to do cool Sedona names and we needed to name that green. Then there's another color, and I wonder if I have it here, called Desert Scrub. I do. This is Desert Scrub. So kind of a green and what else would you call that? It's like not a gray. Here it is wound up. I don't know, what did I call it? We don't know what we'd call it. So let's see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, and then the 12th one, I don't know if I have that one. I should. Was something Jade. I can't remember. Wasn't it? Jade, something Jade. Oh, not this one.
I can't remember what it's called.
Sage. Desert Sage.
Desert
I don't remember.
Sage.
Is that what it was?
Maybe.
We'll have to double check and make sure.
Beth from the future here to inform you that the name of the mysterious colorway was, in fact, Sagebrush.
So I don't know where that guy ended up, but it was like very similar to this color, but with a little more green going on. And I'm sure I have one, but I'm not sure, again, where it ended up. But maybe I can insert some pictures if I find it later on. So those were all the new colorways. And part of the reason we dyed a bunch of new colorways is because our yarn was used for the class. So I already talked about this, but you didn't hear it because the computer stopped recording. So I developed a class around Jennifer Berg's Tsekoh cowl pattern. Jennifer Berg is lives in Arizona and is the native knitter is her design name. And she designs really, really fun patterns, lots of color work, lots of accessories, some sweaters and things too, but just lots of fun, smaller accessories that we had a lot of fun putting little kind of kits together for. And we had a lot of little minis and things available so that people could build their own kits, because we got to kind of set up our own little mini yarn shop for this retreat, which was really fun. So Jennifer Berg created this pattern as kind of a guide for people to be able to learn how to create their own colorwork motif. And I kind of designed or built kind of a full day class around this, specific to what we were doing in Sedona. And this is also kind of created as a guideline for people to teach classes to others for kind of how to do this with a little more support. So I came up with this lovely little class printout. So we had the first was exploration hour. So we just went back on Slim Shady Trail, and this was for most of us our first real time exploring the area at all, because the day one is just kind of like you get there. And then the class was on day 2, which I really appreciated that Dorothy did that, just because I had, just a little bit of nerves, and just like I always do when I'm teaching a new thing, especially to adults.
Yeah.
Adults are scarier to teach than children, in my opinion. And so for that hour, we went and walked and hiked, and Dorothy told us about a lot of the different rock formations and plants. And I just told everyone, think like a preschooler. You're looking for color, you're looking for contrast, you're looking for anything that you find like interesting and striking. So it was really fun to watch everybody kind of go through that process. And like, I think it made it like right away less intimidating, because it's like, just whatever you think looks cool, take a picture. I mean, what's easier than that?
Yeah.
So lots of pictures of different plants, lots of pictures of big contrasting color. It didn't rain yet, but the next day or that night maybe it would rain, and then there were some flowers. So we did get to see some of the pretty color. Then we came back and we kind of just talked about like, what did you see? What do you think you might use as your motif? Because we were going to use one of those images to simplify and create our colorwork chart. But before we could pick our image and start making the colorwork chart, we needed to pick out our palettes, our color palettes. So everybody got to choose 3 colors of our yarn. I think a couple people maybe did more colors than that. I did too, of course, because I got to have all the colors. And part of the reason for that was we had brought a lot of colors and several of many colors. So many, there were more than one, so more than one person could use that color. But people needed to have their colors before they could start designing their motif, because if everybody wanted to use the orange and you didn't get an orange, then your motif might be different. You know what I'm trying to say? So we chose our colors. We had a break for lunch. Then we came back together. Well, we were together the whole time, but we came back to focusing on the class, did a little conversation about color work tips and tricks. And that was just kind of like pulling from everyone's knowledge and just talking about different color work tools. Like, oh, has anybody ever used like one of those rings that you wear for color work? Has anybody tried flipping your knitting inside out to do color work? And just all these different things that maybe some of us have heard of, but some of us hadn't, and some people had tried and some people hadn't yet. And there was a range of skill and experience with color work, where some people like literally teach other color work classes, and some people it was like their very, very first time. So that was really fun. And during that discussion, we kind of started our cowls, because that first bit is ribbing. And then the first, like this yellow here, that part is included for everyone. And then the middle section is where you're creating your own motif. Though some people did omit the top and kind of did their own thing, which is always cool to see. And then we kind of just started. I did a little exercise to help everybody kind of walk through simplifying something. So it was basically like a very short amount of time. And it was like, okay, pick one of your images, your pictures, whatever, from our little walk, and draw it in 5 lines or less in like a minute. So it's like really kind of forcing you to get over the perfectionism and the overcomplicating and just like try it. And I think that step was helpful for a lot of people. And from there, we everybody just kind of started working, started sketching out their designs. A lot of people already had been sketching out ideas, and everyone started knitting. And it was so fun to see the colors that everybody chose and just how everything came together and how different everybody's projects were. So much fun. So that was kind of that whole day. And then the second day, or I guess the third day, I got to look back at
this itinerary.
At the itinerary. Was that the Jeep tour maybe? Could have been. I don't remember.
Or a free day.
I don't think so.
No? Pink Jeep tour.
Pink Jeep tour. So we did not everybody did every activity. That's the other nice thing about these retreats too, is like everything that we did was included in the cost of the retreat, but it was also like, if you don't want to go on the hike, you don't have to go on the hike. If you don't want to go on the Pink Jeep tour, you don't have to go on the Pink Jeep tour. It was just a very, Dorothy always calls it a gentle itinerary, where it's like, don't worry about FOMO. Like if there's so many things to do, if you want to go do yoga and have a massage, if you want to just stay at the resort, if you want to take a nap, do whatever you want to do, which is really nice. So the next day we did the Pink Jeep tour. That was really fun. I'll include a couple pictures and videos here. We learned all about, now I'm going to totally blank on like all the specific names, but it was like basically ruins of like homes and buildings from like a long, long time ago. I don't want to even try to say, because I just know I'm going to get all the details wrong.
Like dwellings.
And so because there's kind of an
cliff dwellings.
Thank you. And because there's kind of an overhang in that area, like a lot of the like symbols and pictures drawn on the rock face were still there from like, forever ago, and from 2 different groups of people, which is very interesting. So we learned a lot. We had a really fun tour guide. We filled up 2 Jeeps. Kari and I ended up in a Jeep with Jimbo. He was fun.
Every time I want to say like Billy Bob, and I know that's not right, and then I'm like Bilbo. No, that's not right. Jimbo. There we go. It takes me a minute to get there.
We got there. And he was a lot of fun and gave just told us a lot about the area and different things. We learned about
there's a color ordinance.
The color ordinance. Thank you. You read my mind. I love when we're together. There's a color ordinance, so like all the buildings, homes and businesses have to be kind of a certain color palette to kind of blend in with the surroundings. And there's also, what was the lights thing called?
Oh,
Dark Sky Sanctuary or Dark
something
Sky
like
something.
that. Dark Sky.
So like at night, all of the lights like have to face down and all have to be like a certain color so that like the sky is very clear and dark and like pure and beautiful. So that was very cool and interesting. And he talked about a couple different things. He's like, that's just some Jimbo philosophy for you. And I was like, that sounds like a book title.
Yeah.
I would buy Jimbo philosophy. So if you ever see it out there, Jimbo philosophy, let me know.
Yeah, the pink Jeep tour was probably like one of my favorite things we
Was
did.
it really? And then it was nice because on the way back, he was kind of asking like, oh, what are you doing? You know, how long are you here? What are you doing for the rest of your trip? And we told him that we had a couple free days. And he gave some recommendations of where to go. And he talked about Jerome and the town that we like walked around and had lunch. I can't remember what that one was called.
I can't either.
But he gave some
Cottonwood,
I think. Yeah, good call. He gave some really good recommendations of things to do. So that ended up influencing our next day, which was a free day.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of talking about different things, and he talked about Jerome. And I'm going to let you take over because, again, I feel like I'm talking a lot. And if I don't say, hey, Kari, your turn to talk, you may not get to talk at all.
I think with Jerome, it was a mining town. And it's supposed to be like the most haunted place in America, apparently. But it was also like where all the hippies came for a while afterwards.
Because it became a ghost. It was a copper mine, and then it became a ghost town.
And then, so it's a very cool mix of like kind of little ghosty things, like supernaturally type stuff, and artsy stuff, and some like a lot like copper jewelry and that sort of thing. And very touristy, but very fun.
Yes. Yeah. So we decided, well, again, we didn't have a car.
Yeah.
So we were in the Jeep with a bunch of our other buddies and our friends Kirsten and Alyssa. I was like, so hey, what are you doing for that free day tomorrow? That Jerome place sounds pretty interesting. So we more or less invited ourselves along with them because they had a car.
Yes.
And because we loved hanging out with them and they're so much fun. And we had similar things that we wanted to do. So on our first free day, we kind of went and explored. We grabbed a coffee at Black Potion. Is that what it was called?
Black Cat Potion.
Everyone kept saying Black Cat, but I think it was Black Potion. I think we all made up the cat thing. I'll look it up.
I don't think we did make up the cat thing.
Really? Okay. Oh, where's my phone? I want to know.
I'll grab mine.
Unless maybe it's in here. She said it was her favorite place, so maybe favorite coffee place, so maybe it was in the list. Black Potions, coffee crystals readings.
Well, fine. We did make up the Black Cat part. But that's because they had like, isn't it like, I think they have a cat as their, on their logo.
I don't think so.
No?
I think we made up the cat thing.
I think there's a cat thing somewhere. They have a lot of cat stuff in there anyway.
I learned my new favorite word, Talakapaki. That was the Talakapaki Galleries and Shopping. So yes, that free day we grabbed coffee at Black Potions Coffee, and they had lots of like other pretty things in there. You could shop a little bit. And they had really yummy coffee.
Yeah.
Really yummy. We made a point to go there again a different day because it was so good. So we did that. We went and kind of explored Cottonwood, just kind of walked through some of the shops, got together with another couple friends that were exploring and had wow. Where are you from? Minnesota? We had some lunch. Oh boy. We had some lunch at a really yummy Thai place. And then we kind of went our separate ways again. And that's when we went and visited Jerome. And Jerome is another town like Kari described. And you kind of like wind around the side of like a big kind of hill mountainy kind of thing. So that was kind of a cool drive. And as you get closer to the town, you start seeing some of the houses and buildings, and they're like built off the side of this hill and like look like half of the houses are on stilts. And I'm just like, whoa.
No thanks, man. I'm good.
Whew. They look like they're just gonna like fall off the side of the cliff or whatever it's called. And it is such a cool mix of like lots and lots of art galleries and very cool things. Some, you know, touristy things, gift shops, crystal shops, that kind of thing. But mostly lots of art galleries, which is really cool because it's all these local people's paintings and collages and pottery and
prints
and we
jewelry.
You got a teeny tiny little pot. Oh my gosh, it was so cute. They had just all these little fun little things. I got a print at one of those places because I could not go on without it. Isn't that beautiful? I think is that a prickly pear? Cactus. Very pretty. And then something else in here is secret. Mwahaha. It's for my friend Tracy. Mwahaha. You don't get to see it, Tracy. Not till later.
Yeah.
And
we did go to the yarn store in Cottonwood before we went to Jerome.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot that. We went to the yarn store, which is called, was it called Sedona Knitwits?
I think so.
Something like that. Linda, the owner, was super nice. And we chatted with her for a bit. And then a couple days later, we actually ended up going back. And she bought a bunch of our Sedona colorways and yarns. That was after we kind of did our last call of retreat shoppers, like, hey, we're gonna close up shop, so come on and shop. And that was awesome because then we didn't have to ship so much back, and just, you know, was just really a wonderful idea. So thank you, Dorothy and Brian, for that idea, because that was brilliant to go and offer to, hey, you want to buy some of this off us? So yeah, I took some cool videos when we were in Jerome. There were just some it was just the strangest mix of like totally abandoned, forsaken buildings. Yeah. And then businesses. And I mean, there had to have been a couple homes, you know, but just a very, very interesting area. So we did all of that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else from that day.
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it.
Either. Which was a pretty full day by the end.
Then the next day was
the hike. The Mitten Ridge hike. So we went on a guided hike.
We sure did.
We were well prepared. They had told us they had told us what we should do to like exercise ahead of time, kind of work up to it, train for it a little bit. Because it was an intermediate hike, I think. Yeah. And so they provided walking poles for hiking poles for everybody. They had a bunch of snacks. They came and picked us up and brought us to the trail, which was really nice since we didn't all have vehicles. And we had 2 guides, and the whole thing was just really great. They were lovely. They thought it was so cool that we were a group of like crafty ladies. We went about, the total was like, what was the total distance?
I think like 8 miles.
8 miles or so.
9.
So, and we had already kind of talked about there were some people concerned about like, what if I want to turn around? Like, what if I want to stop? What if I don't feel confident? You know, whatever. And they had kind of told us like, we'll get to a certain point and then we'll kind of break off and decide, is everyone sticking together? Do we have the guides go 2 separate ways? What do we want to do? And so as we were, I did not train the way I had planned because we were just working our buns off and I didn't make it a priority. And so it didn't happen. And I'm not in the best shape of my life. Like, I don't exercise as much as I should. And so we were like going, and it was fun. We're all chit-chatting. It was beautiful. It had rained before that. So we were seeing like all these beautiful little flowers, and they were all so teeny tiny. I'll put in some pictures and videos of some of the things that we saw. And what was the tree that had the like magical color? Oh,
That's a great question.
it's in here. I know it is. Someone out there is screaming it. Do you remember I took a picture of it, and it's like the bark was almost like rainbowy because it had rained not long ago, and apparently when it's wet, it's like, or damp, it's more colorful.
Couldn't tell you what it is though. We learned a lot about different plants.
We did. And obviously it didn't all stick now a month later. Don't worry. I'll type it in here somewhere or something. I've got a lot of editing ahead of me.
Fun.
Thanks to Beans, half of it. Good grief.
There was a point you could turn around.
Yes. And so we got to, and I think it was about, did we go about, how many miles did we go before? We went pretty far.
Yeah, I think about like 4.
And a lot of it
Something
was,
like
you know,
that.
it was not, you know, it's, you know, questionable terrain. It's like
Yeah.
a lot of like up and a lot of unsteady, not unsteady, but just uneven terrain. And there were a couple times where I was really feeling like, whew, and I'm so good at masking from all of my years of masking the ADHD I didn't know I had, that like I can look perfectly fine to others on the outside, and I'm not fine. And I was like, okay, I'm getting there. Like, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I can do this whole thing. And then it would kind of flatten out, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm good again. And then we'd be going up again, and I'm like, ooh, I'm just like, and my legs were just starting to feel heavy, and I just felt a little less steady. And I was pretty confident that there was one person who was gonna not plan to do the whole entire thing. And so I had told myself, because usually, or in the past, I would have just like forced myself to do it. Just push through. Don't let people see that you can't do the thing, or that you aren't going to do the thing, or that you're not fit enough to do the thing. I'm like, I was perfectly like satisfied with my thought of, when we get to whatever point it is that we're breaking off, we're picking an easier trail, I'm doing that. Or we're going back, I'm doing that. Like, I don't, like, I've had the experience. I feel like the rest of it is just going to be more of the same, which it kind of was, kind of wasn't.
Yeah.
I'll let Kari fill you in on that. But so I felt good about that, because for me, that was growth, to be like, I don't feel confident. I don't want to move forward. And so luckily there was one other person who also was like, yep, I'm good. Let's go back. So the two of us went with one of the guides, and that was so fun because I got to know Jane so much better. And we were, we kind of went back to a meeting point where we were going to stop and have lunch at some picnic tables. And the hike guides provided that lunch for us, which was awesome. And so we were just like chilling. We were just sitting under the trees doing some knitting. I was working on some cross stitch. We were just chit-chatting, getting to know each other better. Chit-chatting with a guide who was really nice. And we honestly, like, we would sit in the shade, and then all of a sudden we'd be like, oh, we're kind of chilly, and we go back to the picnic table in the sun, and we bask in the sun and warm up, and then it was just kind of a fun little hangout. And I'm just glad I made that decision. And then Kari came back, and I heard from everyone how the rest of the hike went, and I feel like I made the best decision of my life. So Kari, why don't you tell what the rest of the hike was like?
I'm like, I think I can do it. Like, I just want to do it. And where we were at the point, we're like, well, where are we going? He's like, we're going up to like that saddle. I'm like, okay. Like, how? Like, how do you get up there? You do somehow. Yeah, talk about up. It was good for a while. And like, because the first part we were like in the trees, in the brush, like all that. And then it's like rock, and you're just climbing up these rocks on this trail. And I'm like, how is this a trail? we're just like,
That's why you
Okay.
go with a guide.
that's why you go with a guide. And yeah, we got up there and we got up to the saddle like, hey, cool, we did it. And like, oh, like, we'll be going down. And there were some parts where I'm like, oh, like, it's kind of close to, like, these trails are a little narrow, kind of close to the edge there. And like, even going down there, a few parts, I'm like, you don't even walk. Like, I'm going to slide on my butt. Like, again, like, how do you get down from here? And poor one of the gals was just like, not a fan of heights, or at least like that. Like, she's like being on the edge of things. But we did it where we all helped her out and distracted her by playing some music and played a game. And our guide, when we kind of got to a point where it was better, he's like, man, you guys, like, too bad you didn't do this earlier, because you like wove together, and like that was such good teamwork, and like you did it together. Yeah, it was fun.
But it was, and I think that speaks to the group of people that was there. Was just like the most. Just imagine that person. That if you've ever had someone in your life where you're like, wow, I think that person's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you meet them and you get to know them, and they're like everything that you thought they would be. That was every single person on this trip was just like lovely and kind and interesting and like helpful. And it's like we all just cared about each other right away. I don't know. It was so special.
The owners of the resort, too, said that we were like the best group of people that they ever had, the best retreat people.
Imagine that. We were like the quietest, nicest group. Us knitting gals from the Midwest and Montana.
Yeah. And North Dakota.
And North Dakota.
Well, that's
Midwest. Is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally is.
According to some people in the Midwest, they consider North Dakota like West.
That's silly.
I could see it being half
Maybe
and half. The west part is west to me.
Yeah.
Because
that's where the West starts.
Yeah.
But if we're going to include, I mean, the Midwest goes too far east, if you ask me.
I agree. Ohio is not part of the Midwest. Sorry. You're too close to the East Coast. No.
Okay. We're not trying to start any fights with anybody here, but all I can say is Minnesota is solidly in the Midwest. I know that for sure. Yeah. So yeah, we had the hike day. So that took like the better part of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got back to the retreat, and then that was kind of just a chill rest of the day. Most people hit the pool that day.
Or the hot tub.
Or the hot
For
tub.
the muscles.
I myself took a fabulous nap. Absolutely fabulous.
Beth was like, I'm like, I showered and everything. You didn't like move.
My body was like, rest, please.
Yeah.
Rest, please. So then the next day was another free day. So that day we found ourselves back at Black Potions again.
Mm-hmm.
What else did we do that day?
Well, we did that, went back to the retreat resort, and then people were like, oh, we got our aura pictures taken. We're like, what? I want an aura picture taken. So then a group of us went, we got our aura pictures taken. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
And then, of course, they have like all this pretty jewelry and stuff and crystals. So
I'm not wearing my rings. I decided I'm a ring girly. I bought 2 rings and I've been wearing them and I love them so much. But I don't always like to sleep with them. Yeah. So I take them off and then I'm not used to putting them back on because I'm not used to being a ring girly. Mm-hmm. But I decided that I really like rings.
Yep.
So yeah, we did that, and then we went back to the retreat again, and then that's when we went back to the yarn shop again.
Yes.
To bring Linda the yarn.
Yes.
And then we went back again.
Yes.
And
then we kind of just hung out and stuff, but then we had to pack up the rest of our yarn.
Yes.
And then that's when we were like, let's throw all our heavy crap in there so we don't have this situation again at the airport, which we didn't.
Because it costs about the same to ship a giant 60-pound box back home as it would have to check a suitcase. Yeah. And it would have been double to have an overweight suitcase. Mm-hmm. So it's like, we'll just... So we had the, leftover yarn, which was not very much. And it was a very big box. Mm-hmm. So we're throwing like projects in there that we're not going to work on. I threw my jacket in there.
Books and journals.
Journals, my watercolors. Yeah. And of course, because I didn't have them. By the way, I haven't touched them since I took a watercolor class last summer with my friend Sarah. Never wanted to watercolor so badly. Mm-hmm. And now that I've had the watercolors back, do you think I've touched them? I have not. Anyway, so yeah, that was kind of the last day. And there was like, we haven't mentioned, but there was like lots of little downtime in and among and between. Lots of just sitting outside, enjoying the sun, just soaking it in after our long winter. Lots of knitting. I was doing some cross stitch. There was a big fire area, so we could make s'mores. Our friend Alyssa had her first ever s'more. That was fun. And
2 friends, I forgot, they went on a hot air balloon trip ride or whatever.
Yeah.
And they said it was like awesome. And because they were on the hike, and I asked them like what was it like? And she said you don't even like feel it like moving up. I'm like, oh, like an elevator. She's like, it was like less than that even. I'm like, what? Like when you feel your
gentle.
stomach. Yeah. She's like, it was really good. I'm like, that'd be fun to do one day.
Mm-hmm. Maybe next time. And then there was kind of a farewell breakfast, and we headed out and got our shuttle back to the airport and had a big old travel day. Mm-hmm. Our flight back went to Chicago, because I don't think there are nonstop flights from Fargo, are there?
A certain time frame there are, and certain airlines there are, but I think for what we needed. Yeah.
So we flew back via Chicago,
because people were kind of surprised. They're like, oh, you didn't get direct flights? I'm like, I think we were like a little too late, because I think if it was earlier, like I think next year we might be able to if we wanted to fly out of Fargo, but I think it was late enough where there was a cutoff or whatever.
Gotcha.
Because it's the same for Florida, because that's when Brody's. I'm like, why'd they come back up here in December? That's why, because that's when they had direct flights. I'm like, got it.
That makes sense.
Yep.
So we flew to Chicago, and then from Chicago to Fargo, and then back to Kari's. So we got, by the time we got home, it was like
12:30ish.
Yeah, a.m.
Yeah. Boo a.m. 12:30 a.m.
But with the time change, it felt like 10:30.
Yeah.
So, because we had kind of gotten used to the Arizona time, which is a 2-hour difference from where we are. And so I decided, I was originally going to spend the night at Kari's and leave right away in the morning. But those 3 little kids we talked about and my hubby, they really missed me, and I really missed them. And I wasn't tired. And I just, the thought of like one more day of travel, I was just like, forget it. So I drove, had some food at Kari's, and drove that night to go home. And that's what I did. And that was Sedona. And it was so much fun. Okay, so I think we should talk a little bit. I know this is probably getting kind of long, but I think we should talk about what projects we brought to work on.
Okay.
Did we actually work on them or not? And what were some of the things that we wore that were like our favorite things, or like if there was anything special?
Okay, I think that's a hint for me to talk now.
Yeah, so, when I flutter my eyes at you, it's your turn.
I think I have 2, I guess it was 4 projects. I had that plain vanilla sock. That was just pretty much airport knitting that I did that at. I brought, because we recorded a podcast earlier, like the beginning of March or something like that, but it didn't film right or whatever. So I don't know if you guys saw or not. And of course, I'm not good about posting on Instagram.
Yeah.
Ever.
So no, nobody has seen anything from that.
Well, I started my first sweater, finally. And I'm doing the CatKnit pullover, I think. This is what it's called. And I'm this far. And honestly, I think I took it out like one time to work on it. Because since we were so busy dyeing our buns off, I have also been working on granny squares for a giant queen-size blanket I decided I need to do.
And you've been trying to do like a square a day, right?
Yeah.
And have a blanket by the end of the year?
Yes. So far, I'm on row 8.
So you're ahead of schedule now.
20? Yeah. Because I did an account that I had some already made and putting them together. So I was busy catching up with that. That's what I mainly did, was just pick out, I just had, random skeins or scraps or whatever I have. And that's really what I was working on, was crocheting those squares, because I was like really far behind. But I'm like, this is the perfect time to do it and catch up, because I'm going to be so annoyed if I don't. And like, I really want to get this done. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get this stupid blanket done.
And that's a pretty easy, I mean, if you know how to
Yeah.
make a granny square, you definitely still have to look at it, but it's like you can be having a conversation while you're doing it. You don't have to be like looking at a pattern.
Yeah, that and easy to like pick back up when you set it down.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, oh, I forgot this. Oh, I forgot that in the cabin. Oh, I need to go.
Except Kari and I both have the habit when making granny squares of like, you make the first round, and then if you're going to change color, you go grab the second color, and instead of doing the next round, you just start another one.
I've done that so many times.
too.
So many times. And then I started a colorwork mitten.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what they're called, but they look like little
tarot cat something.
tarot cat. Yeah, like
I'll
they look
put
like
that all in the
tarot
show notes
cat,
too.
And I got the cuff done, and that's about it so far. And they're still sitting there waiting.
And that's using one of our new colors, right? That was one, the Sedona Skies.
Yeah.
The blue.
And then one of our summer.
Yeah, and one of our
Castle Sprinkles.
new beach party collection colors. So it's this one, and then a white with like all the magical colorful speckles on it. Okay, so back to being overpackers. I brought way more than I worked on. Okay, and one thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about the Jeep tour. I think the Jeep tour especially, and most of the trip, Kari's sisterhood was the envy of everyone at Sedona Knit Camp. Okay, so Kari and I had cast on sisterhoods, so the patterns by Brienne Moody.
That was also in the old podcast that never happened, that we talked about that. I'm like, didn't we? Yeah, you guys don't know, because again, I don't post anything.
Yeah, and the video it's still stuck on my phone, and we hit a certain point where I was like, I can't keep trying to do this, and we have to move on and do all these other things. So we really did record it. I know there's a lot where I'm like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then I never do. We really did record a podcast at the beginning of March. It really did happen. So Kari had, so we had cast those on because Jen from Jen Loves Yarn. Jen Loves Yarn, does that sound right?
I think so.
I doubt everything when the camera's rolling. It's like, I don't believe anything I say. She was having a knit along for the sisterhood, and Kari and I were having an actual sister weekend. So not like a work weekend, but like a hang out and chill weekend. And I had yarn enough for 2 hoods, and very much my colors and very much Kari's colors. And I was like, hey, want to make this? I'll bring you yarn. So Kari had finished hers by the time we got to Sedona.
Yes.
And so what is a sisterhood, you may wonder? So I have finished mine since then. I was almost done in Sedona. I brought it. I don't think I knit on it at all.
No.
Did I?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. And I was truly like almost done. So it was silly. But so this is a sisterhood. I'm going to put it on, and I apologize if it makes the microphone do anything weird. So it looks like this. It has kind of a little, like, you could tuck this part into your shirt or jacket if you wanted to. And it's like very big. It has kind of a pointed thing back here. And there's a drawstring channel here. And I did an I-cord with a contrast color, and I put some little, whatever these things are called, little toggly type things, so that if, you want it to be real functional, I can do that. But this is made using alpaca Surrey silk. So Surrey alpaca and silk. And 2 strands held together. And it is like the softest, lightest, most magical fabric. And Kari's is like a funky, like beautiful mint green. So like I swear I was like side-eyeing you everywhere we went. I'm like, looking cute in that hood. Look nice and warm in the back of the Jeep in that hood.
It was.
So when we got home, I was like, I am finishing my hood. And so I did, and I ran out of yarn. I was using Muse 2320's Cranberries colorway. And I ran out, and so I decided, and I ran out, I'd already done part of the I-cord channel, so I decided the second half of it would be green. This is our Bobby's green colorway. And we have dyed on this base, but we don't have it as like one of our standard bases yet, but we definitely plan to dye some of this and put together some kits for the sisterhood because we just love it so much. Yeah, and I finished mine, and I have been wearing it so much because I'll wear it to like do something quick outside, or in these transitional seasons like spring, fall. It's just the weather can be so different day to day. So a lot of the time I'll like run to do something outside, and I just throw this on, and I have it on, and I'm all warm and cozy. And it feels like the air gets like trapped in here and just like stays warm. So you just feel like you're in this like cocoon of snuggliness. And then, you know, when I walk back in the house, I put it back down and I forget that I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
And it's just like this nice, like it's so light that you truly forget that it's there. So yeah, this definitely will be coming with the next time we go to Sedona, and probably anytime I go anywhere, unless it's like the middle of summer and it's hot.
Yeah.
Because this thing is awesome. And it's big enough that you could be wearing another hat. You know, you could be wearing an actual hat.
Or like
a cap, or
have a ponytail in, or a hair clip in.
Yes, I have worn this with a ponytail, and it doesn't look, you know, it's not like uncomfortable or pulling or like a big giant lump in the back because it's just a very large hood. But I did not gauge swatch, so my fault for running out of yarn. I'm sure my gauge was off. But beware if you do knit it, because I think it's very close. Very close to maxing out and using all of your yarn.
I was able to use all mine for the whole thing, but then it's like, oh, whatever you have left, you're in the pattern you knit the I-cord with whatever you had left. And I started, I'm like, yeah, this is not long enough. So I used a contrasting red that I had.
Yeah, which I think is more fun anyway. Like the contrast is really fun. And so that's kind of why I debated on what colors to use for like my I-cords and my little toggly things. But I feel like mine very much matches like all of my hiking gear and stuff.
Like all your favorite colors.
I know, yeah. Pink, mauvey, pink, purple, and bright pink.
Green and yellow.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, it's so strange. Not like me at all. Wink. So that's why I wanted to show that off. Then this, in my mind now, is my Sedona sweater, because I wore this a lot, and I finished it not long before, partly because it had been sitting around waiting to be finished for like 3 years, partly because I just wanted to wear it in Sedona. So I'll maybe insert some pictures or video or something of like me standing up and showing it off. I don't want to do that right now because I feel like you would just see my butt if I just stood up, and like we're just not going to wing it right now. But it's a very pretty cardigan. It has some color work. I made big old pockets. There are pockets as part of the pattern, but I actually like sewed a big pocket so I can put like everything in here. I can fit my phone in here, my little pouch that has like my ID, my cards, my chapstick. Like I can fit a lot of stuff in these pockets.
Nice.
And it does kind of pull on the sweater a little bit, but not to the point that it bothers me. So when I wore this a lot there. So and I've kind of been wearing it as a jacket now that it's like getting nice out here. And then another thing that I wore, and I kept catching myself, I'm like such a dork. I had my hot pink, like, sandals that are like, what is that style called?
Slides?
Yeah, kind of. And they're like Birkenstock shaped pink, like plastic slide things. They're nothing fancy, but they're like hot pink sandals. And I kept wearing them with my Old Salt socks, which are a pattern by Ashley Adams, and I test knit these, and I test knit the hat as well, of the same name, the Old Salt hat. And I just love these socks. And I knit them using our Grandma Share neon tweed yarn, in the colorways Grumpy Teenage Merdude, Lip Smacked is the pink, and the yellow is Hippy Dippy. And it has this really cute toe detail where there's like a alternate or a contrast color across just the top of the toe. And hers doesn't have two colors, but as soon as I saw that, I was like, ooh, I wonder if I can do it in both contrast colors. And it was very simple to do that. So that was, yeah. But I kept finding myself wearing these with my pink sandals and like capris, and we're all of a sudden we're out in public and I'm like, oh shoot, I don't think I meant to be dressed like this. But I mean, I guess I dress like that at home, so who cares? But yeah, these got some love because look how bright and fun they are. The color combo is just so much fun. So that was one of my favorite things that I wore. Okay, as for the projects I brought a lot of projects. I brought the headband that I already showed you. That was this one. I brought my Trail Magic socks because when this pattern came out and Summer Lee, this is a Summer Lee sock design, when Summer Lee did her video showing them off, and she was talking about how she was going to be in Arizona, and and this was like right before we went, she was going to be hiking and she wanted to have these trail socks and they'd be so cute and da da da. And I was like, ooh, me, I'm going to Arizona. I want to knit these beautiful trail socks. And I thought, oh, how fun. I'm going to knit them using our advent from last year, which was themed around the show Only Murders in the Building. So this was my like Mabel section, and this was my Oliver section, and then this was my Charles section. And the lack of contrast here just like I totally puttered out. I did not touch these while in Sedona.
I was say, I don't remember seeing those.
No, I don't think they even came out of my suitcase. However, every project I brought with, I kind of had the mindset of like, whether I work on it or not, I'm like baking some Sedona desert, happy, warm, sunshine energy into these projects. And maybe that will give them new life and I'll be like excited to work on them when I get home, which was true for this one because I finished it. So did not finish that, did not work on that at all. This is one of my Shop Knitting Nelly project bags. This might be my favorite project bag that I have, because imagine that. It's like pink and like pretty like gold and like scummy goldy green. This project bag that I held up also is a Shop Knitting Nelly bag. She makes the most beautiful patchwork bags. I did quite a lot of work actually on my cross stitch that I've been working on. This I got actually at our very first trip to Dappled Fern. Got this little kit. So it is a kit from Innocent Bones from the Tarot collection. This is the cute little package it came in. And I'm almost done. So it's the moon. And all I have left is to complete the rest of the pink, lighter pink background of the tarot card. And then I'm done. Isn't it pretty? And it's just such a nice break sometimes from knitting to have a different craft with like different movements, different rhythm. Very satisfying because I feel like I see my progress very quickly because it's so small. So that was a lot of fun. My memory of that from Sedona is when we were like sitting on the swing. I don't remember which day, but there was a little swing and we were just sitting on the swing and Kari was working on something and I was doing my cross stitch and we were just sitting there quietly, happy, soaking in the sun. Lots of soaking in the sun. We really needed the sun. So I worked on that a lot. I brought, it felt like there was so much more.
Well, your hood.
The hood. Okay, so yeah, so I brought the hood and I didn't work on it. I thought there was something over yonder, but maybe not. And then I also brought, and this was the project that I shoved from my
suitcase
from my carry-on bag into my suitcase to swap and put some of the heavy things from my suitcase into my little travel bag. So this is the Happy Camp Cardigan by Brienne Moody, on a bit of a Brienne Moody streak, you may have noticed. Also on a bit of a Happy Camp Cardigan streak, because I've already made one before. And this, when we got to Sedona, I was here. So I had the hem up to the first blue zigzag was finished. And then actually I knit on it a tiny bit like the last day or so. And because I wanted to knit some Sedona into it, I was like, I want to have this place memory kind of tied to this project, because my memory is a questionable, shoddy system. I can remember some of the most specific details about something very unimportant, and I can forget important details or like big picture things sometimes. So that's part of like why I try to like do special knitting when I'm on special trips, to kind of like put the memories into a physical thing, like the opposite of a Horcrux. So then I knit on it a little bit on, I think, the last day, that last morning, and then I knit on this quite a bit in the plane and in the airport. And then when I got home, so there was a knit along also that was hosted by Spin Cycle and Brienne Moody. And I just was like, I really wanted to finish it by the end of the knit along, but I also knew that was kind of a long shot. So like a week ago, I did a silly little couple of reels where I was like, I'm going to knit and I'm going to try to see if I can finish, and And I was posting my progress, and I didn't know how much some people were actually keeping up with my progress. I learned at Shepherd's Harvest, like, oh my gosh, we were watching you knitting on the pond and knitting on the car and knitting everywhere. So I am close, but then I've had to stop and work on some other deadline projects that, a deadline always just sucks the joy out of my life, but also is the only thing that makes me do anything on time. So I guess it's good. But I got a lot knit since we got back. And for me, for a sweater, that's really good, because usually a sweater will get to a certain point and I just either get bored or I get stuck, and I just stuck motivation wise, or something else is happening, so I have the body is all done. It is steeked. Collar's all done. I'm not showing it off very well because I keep moving it. And it's hard when it's steeked and not blocked. It doesn't really hang the right way. So here's the front. I ran out of yarn on the first sleeve, so it'll be interesting to see what we do about that for the second sleeve. But I love it, and it's ridiculous and rainbowy and pastel and neon and magical and patchworky, and that is kind of my whole theme for the kind of things I wanted to knit in 2026. So this is like the perfect thing for that. Hum-de-dum-dum-dum. What else can I tell you? I think that was all my projects, which now that I say it doesn't seem like that much, but considering there were like 3 of them that I hardly touched. Oh, because here, this is why. I knit a cowl too. I forgot. Okay, so this is what I mostly was working on while we were there. It took me a couple extra days to make my own motif and decide what I wanted to do. So I kind of redid the whole thing my way for my own thing. And I also realized with a cowl that's just a tube, if I don't have a way to keep it like up, I'm not going to wear it. So I was thinking about that as I started. So I decided to knit an extra long ribbing. And then I folded it over and stitched it, or I don't know exactly. I don't really remember exactly what I did, but I have this I-cord channel, and I'll do just like this, where I have an I-cord through it. I made 2 little I-cord holes or buttonholes here for the front. And then for my charts that I made, I did the word Sedona over and over. And I think I'm actually going to duplicate stitch so that each Sedona is a different color, because otherwise it just is kind of hard to exactly see what it says. And then I tried to do some of the rock formation. So this was just sitting right outside our little, I mean, it wasn't a room. It was like I always want to say cabin, but it's not a cabin or whatever. The place we were staying. We were just sitting outside. This was kind of the shape of some of the rocks. And I wanted to do the prickly pear, or no, it wasn't prickly pear. It's a different kind of cactus, but it was one that we saw and had some pretty pink flowers. I don't love how the pink and orange blended, so I might do something about that. And then for the bottom, I did Knit Camp 2026. And then rather than repeat the words again on the back, I just did some additional blue flowers there. And I used 2 different oranges and alternated them to kind of try to get some of the lines in the rock, the red rock, which I feel like I did, like it looks really good. So I'm going to do some duplicate stitching. I'm going to do some embroidery on the top, and I'm going to add the I-cord with the little toggles, and then this guy will be finished. But this way, when I wear it, I can actually like keep it up, cinch it up, keep it up over my nose, because where we live, these warm things really need to be functional. And to me, I want a cowl that I can like keep most of my face warm with if I'm outside or if I'm like running the kids to the bus or whatever. So that's why I'm like, what was I doing? This didn't even exist before we left. And I didn't know if I would make one or not along with the class. But I did. And so many people finished.
Yeah.
And we took some really cool pictures. Dorothy took some really cool pictures and videos of all the cowls, and it was really fun. So thank you, Jennifer Berg, for creating that pattern and that idea, because that really was kind of the building block for this whole thing. I kind of forgot about this little guy. I kind of love it. That's my story. Whew. Anything else?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. It was an amazing trip. We're so excited to go again next year and dye up even more fun, amazing colorways. All the new colorways we created are not available to you yet, but they probably will be. Not probably, for sure they will be. So we're gonna launch that later on this year. We'll tell you more about that in the future. But I think these colors are going to be really fun for people to put into their projects. So if that retreat sounded amazing to you, because it was, definitely look into Dorothy's retreats. I'll put all of her information in the description below. And like I said, Sedona's full already, but you could definitely get on that wait list if you're interested. I think just by reaching out to Dorothy, probably by email. I think that's probably the best route. And Kari and I are going to let you go for now. Thanks for listening to us babble about our happy trip, and bearing with us while we got rid of the cat by locking her out, not like got rid of the cat. And while we stumbled through getting comfortable again in front of the camera. So thanks for being here. We're so glad you made it. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.